we're going to need some examples, aren't we? We're going to need some examples of this to talk through. Let me give you some examples. I think I have an example, I think, of some, I'm here, but you've heard my story. So I thought of some other folks that we might bring up. Tasha, would you come up? Come on. What's that? Have a seat. Hey, Kevin, I'm going to give her the white mic, okay? Perfect. Hey. So, okay, it was brave, very, very brave for Tasha to come up here. Right? So, when I was thinking of people who have been challenged by Satan, I knew you when you first started walking around the edges of the church in a relationship with Christ. And I knew you when you were challenged. I knew the things that you were going through. And so I knew when I was thinking of somebody that could tell us about what you can come through, that you were probably one of those examples, right? Mm-hmm. So Tasha is not practiced or rehearsed, but Tasha is going to tell us what I want to know. Tasha, is I want to know from you, where were you at when God started creeping into your life and into your heart and coming to get you?
Well, I was strung out on drugs. I was addicted to meth. I tried hiding it from the world. When I wasn't high, I was cutting myself because I hated myself. I have 19 scars, 30-some stitches. It got worse and worse as I knew that God was trying to tell me something's wrong. It got so bad to where I was up 5 days in a row. I would sleep maybe an hour, and then I was right back at it 5 days in a row. I had a dream the first night I had slept in a week. My biological dad was standing there at his grave holding his hand open, telling me to come with him because I knew I was going to die. And that's when God woke me up and told me, if you don't come to me, you're going to die. And that next day, I took my last hit and I laid on my floor foaming out of my mouth and nose. And I knew I was going to die.
So, what did it look like for you to do what he told you to do?
It was hard. It was unimaginable. I couldn't do it. There was no way I could come back to the place I was at. But little by little, he kept showing me, opening me doors. Just little things would happen that would just show me, you don't have to do this anymore. This doesn't have to be your life. You don't have to live here. You don't have to live in a house with no air, no water, no nothing. A husband that you haven't seen in days because you don't know where he's at. He's strung out on drugs. You don't spend any time with your kids because you're so high you forget.
Yeah.
You lose all your friends. You only get good ones that you think.
So, from the perspective of the church, what started happening as far as people interfacing with you from the church and the church speaking to you and things that were going on with the body of Christ getting involved with you? I don't have no idea. How'd you find us?
My first husband brought me here.
Okay.
And I was sitting right where Chris is sitting. And his ex-wife was sitting right in front of us. And I swore I'd never come back to this place. Because I wanted to rip her by her hair and pull her out.
And the gates of hell would not have stood in your way.
Right. Not long after that, we divorced. And I started coming back here, just little by little.
Why?
Because there was something missing. And I couldn't figure out why. And I had this annoying man that would show up to my house every week. And I dreaded, as soon as I seen him pull up in this van, I was like, go away. It was the yo-yo man, Tim.
Yeah.
And he would do his yo-yo tricks, and my kids were like, oh, we gotta go. And I was like, you had to show up, didn't you?
Whatever.
Yeah, so I actually lived right next to Amanda, and he came by all the time. And so did Katie and a couple other people. And they kept saying, just come visit us. So I did. And I started Zumba with Katie, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And I loved the people. They didn't judge me.
Okay.
They knew I was going through a hard time, but I still hadn't opened up to anybody. I think the person who touched me most was Alicia.
Yeah.
She gave me a book to read, and it was called Lies Women Believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right about every single one.
Yeah. So, when you came to the Lord, was there like a time when you came to accept Him and follow Him? Or has it been over time?
It's been over time.
Yeah.
I've been in and out of this building for 9 years. I came here and I thought I had it all together. I had a job and I worked and I did great, and I would relapse and something else would happen.
Yeah.
It got to a point where my parents showed up and said, you get cleaner, I'm taking your kids. And I said, you'll never walk in my house and take my kids from me.
Yeah.
And they did. And two days went by, and I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I thought, why are you doing this to me? What did I do so wrong to you that you're doing this? It took me 2 days. And I prayed about it, and I called Amanda, and she come and saved me. I left with clothes on my back and a bag, and I never went back. And I started coming right back here because I knew that there would be arms wide open for me.
Awesome. So since you came to the Lord and you have come to the church and you're part of that world, you've had no problems at all, right?
Oh, I've had lots of problems.
Shh! I thought we worked on this.
I relapsed once more.
Okay.
It was on Halloween night. Marcus, I had just started dating him. And I came home and I was high as could be. And he told me there will never be another chance ever. And I didn't realize it until I came down that he was right. That could have been my last time.
Could have died. End of story. Yeah.
So I told him that I wanted him to come visit here, that this is where we needed to go. And that's been a long road.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Yeah.
It still hasn't been easy. We've had troubles and trials. We've got a wedding date set.
Awesome.
I'm not perfect. He's not perfect, but I've been clean. In October, it'll be 4 years.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Can I get a hug?
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this. I sneak attacked you and asked you to do it, so I know. So she's such an advanced theologian, and she knows, no. The trick, the fancy thing that Tasha did was she submitted herself to the Lord. She submitted herself to the Lord. And then when she walked away and she got in trouble, she submitted herself to the Lord. And when there were troubles from other people, she submitted herself to the Lord. When she and Mark have talked through things that they go through, they submit themselves to the Lord. They came and they've talked to people here, pastors here, about how to get this thing lined up, and we're working through it. All right? We're not dealing with a fake God, and we're not dealing with a phony baloney fairy tale Satan. We're dealing with a real darkness that doesn't go off work. He doesn't take a day off. He's a part of you each day. And you're gonna get hit, I promise you. But when you do, the trick is to submit yourself to the Lord. Call somebody here in this room. Tons of us that you can call. You hear me? Don't fight alone. He cheats, and he's mean, and he tells you the truth wrapped around a lie that makes you take a step farther and farther and farther away with him, until there you stand in the middle of the woods naked, and he makes fun of you for being naked and leaves you. You can't possibly go back and talk to those people again. You used again. They don't want to talk to you. Tasha, you're a loser. What are you doing? Go away. Tasha knows, and I hope you know, that's a lie of the devil, seriously. Okay?